You asked me what I was going to eat. We talked about...
I cannot remember what I had for dinner that day, but I did not have pancakes.
You didn't have pancakes, no.
I was responsible.
I tried to make 2-minute noodles, but I forgot to turn the...
You screwed 2-minute noodles up.
Yeah, I screwed them up.
You forgot to what?
Like, cook them. Like, I poured boiling water on them, but I didn't, like, cook them further. I just wasn't paying attention, and I just strained them and started eating them, going, these are not cooked. But I just ate them anyway. I couldn't be bothered recooking them.
I can't say anything. I think I've screwed 2-minute noodles up a few times.
It's pretty hard to... It's hard to get right. It's surprisingly hard to get right.
Yeah, sure.
Because if you do them too long, they get soggy. If you do them too short, they're all crispy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you put the flavour sachet at the wrong time, and then you don't get enough flavour. Or
yeah, and you drain too much water, and it's a bit dry, and then you leave too much in, it's not enough flavour. Same as mee goreng, I guess.
Yeah, I have this whole system to get the perfect...
Oh, yeah. You got to do it right. Same as Vegemite on toast.
Oh, yeah. That's
no one can make my Vegemite on toast.
Yeah. I think it's a very personal thing, how much Vegemite...
It is. Yeah. My partner just doesn't understand. He doesn't eat Vegemite, so...
with my Vegemite.
I've tried to train him, but...
Yeah.
It's
probably a good thing you'd want your partner to learn about you.
Yeah.
You could be like, oh, I know, when they ask why did you knew... What was the day you knew that you wanted to marry this guy? It's like, oh, you got me Vegemite right.
That's a very Australian... You got my Vegemite right. I'm Grace. Hello.
I'm James. I'm the other co-host of the show. Or I'm just Grace's lackey. We don't know. We are recording on Fraser Avenue, Kings Park, Perth, Western Australia. 24th of November 2020. It's our time in space, just after work. What have you been up to, Grace?
Not much. Playing a little bit of soccer, tripping over spectators, as it turns out.
What league is this? This is a summer league?
This is, just a five-a-side, 20-minute halves.
Half field? Or full?
Oh, no, it's like a quarter of a field, if that. Yeah. And still just...
On grass?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Who was that organised through?
A friend from my general, the winter season. So she just organises it. And, I think it only ends in December, so it's only a few months.
But is it through a university or a local football club does it, or...?
It's a great question. I have no idea.
You just turn up?
I just, because I'm so good, they just said, look, can you please do us a favour and come down? I said, sure. Yeah, I think we have something stupid, second from the top out of 24 teams. Then I realised you don't actually verse everyone, so that's probably where our advantage was. We versed someone last week, got smashed 8-1 or something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, just to paint a picture for you.
So is there a winner in the Summer League, or is it just, we get to go and play? Yeah,
so you have your... I think semi-finals are soon, and then your finals, so they just sort of break it down into the 4 sort of categories, get the top teams to verse each other, and then go from there. So I think somehow, we made it into a few of the top teams, so that'll just be hell versing all these little 15-year-olds running around. They're so fit.
During the winter, is it more of a league, you don't have finals? I know some soccer leagues finals are for wusses.
Oh, I've never heard that. Is that not the whole point?
Yeah, in Australia, but in Europe, it's whoever just finishes at the top of the ladder is the winner at the end of the season.
Right, okay. I should probably know that too.
How did you get into soccer? Or football?
My sister, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. She was dating someone and his kid was playing soccer.
Okay.
Football. You get told off whichever way you say. If you say football to an Australian, they tell you off. You say soccer to an English person.
Okay, so this wasn't something you were brought up with, you were pushed in the juniors and...
No, nah. Since I was maybe 12 or something, 11.
So are you a soccer player, Grace, or who are you?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
I'll touch base I'd like to say in a few months and let you know. But
is this show just about the evolution of Grace? We'll follow it.
Where am I? What am I doing?
Discover who she is.
Yeah. I thought you meant to have it figured out by 26. But No.
And you grew up in Perth, Western Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah, born and bred?
Yes. Yep. And I was literally just telling James on the way here that I got lost. And I've been here for 26 years of my life. I took a wrong turn, ended up East Perth, and then took another wrong turn, was all through the city, and then eventually made it to Kings Park. This is just from Osborne Park too, so it wasn't even far. Very impressive, yeah.
Yeah, it's very easy to just zone out and...
Don't patronise me, it's fine. I was not zoned out at all. I was full in the zone, looking at my maps, looking at the signs, and I still managed to just take the wrong turn. But
I've made some wrong turns in my life that have cost me many hours of my life. Just completely zoned out, having a conversation with myself in my head, and if we know it, I'm at the other side of the city. Like, oh,
you're not talking figuratively?
no, I'm talking literally. Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay.
I think we talked last week about wrong turns in life.
Yeah. Cost you years, not hours, but...
Now, we're trying to create a podcast here. And we're still trying to think of a name and a theme that connects it all together. One of the ideas we had is we've got to challenge some of our assumptions.
Yes.
Some people say that it's weird to just Google people. Yeah, do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no. I'm normal. I don't do that. I don't stalk
I can't tell if
people.
you mean... Right, but... I mean,
no, I can't say use Google.
All right.
I mean, you've got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Why would you need Google? I don't know.
Yeah, well, Google give you just search once and it'll give you the links to all those things in one hit.
I'm not efficient like that.
But some people say that that's weird, and I'm like, well, I guess it is kind of weird. Maybe.
I'm a weird kind of guy.
Anyway, I definitely Googled you because you're just like a name on a website. I had to work out if you're a spam bot. Like, just message me.
I still could be.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't know.
Anytime I'm suspicious of something. Anyway, I don't think that's an effective tangent.
What part?
I don't know. How weird is it? Like, what's going too far when you look someone up?
Google, I think.
Okay.
Even Facebook. Have you ever accidentally, instead of the search bar, you've gone to actually post, and you've written their name.
Typed it into
my mum's
as a
done that
status
so many.
page.
Yeah, it's a status update.
Oh dear.
You go to the old search bar and John Smith.
Oh no, that would be a shock.
My mum does that. We have to comment. We're like, Mum, stop.
I wonder if I've ever done.
And it
I've
was
definitely
like
done
constant.
something.
She always wrote the same name in. So I was like, Mum.
Was it like an old high school crush?
I think so. Yeah, I had no idea who he was.
Oh wow.
It's like a random man.
Did you Google John Smith to find out who she was looking up?
No, I didn't.
Your curiosity didn't go that far.
Look,
Sometimes you don't want to know, right, with your parents. You just don't want to know.
I went on Facebook and looked a couple of times, but...
Oh, you did look him up?
Yeah. Yeah, Facebook, not Google. What's the difference?
Facebook isn't a term. I Facebooked him. That means you, like, messaged him, right? It's not like you looking him up on Facebook. Facebook stalk.
No, I'm not up to date with the current lingo.
I deleted my Facebook account, so I can't really see...
Oh, you're one of those people.
You know, the good stuff. Not many people have that much public information on their Facebook pages anymore.
No.
So that's the one thing I regret about you can't stalk people as easy.
Yes, it definitely has its benefits. Have you seen Social Dilemma?
No.
Oh, you should definitely watch it if you've deleted Facebook. You're
that
one
about?
of the very, very few people that would have and can probably be capable of deleting Facebook.
Why can't you delete Facebook?
Because I have before, thank you very much, without the judgment. Mostly so I can get invited to stuff, which really isn't that often, but then I like to think at least I have
How hard is it just to message people?
You can delete it and keep the messaging app. Because I message everyone from there. I don't actually really have anyone's numbers. It's just all Facebook. But you can delete the app or, the actual Facebook and keep the messenger, which is a positive, which I would probably recommend people do after watching this Social Dilemma. But yeah, just so I can get invited to events like once a year.
I did that. And then they started adding like stories to Messenger and adding like updates. And I'm like, this is just becoming a Facebook app.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
I think so many people were doing exactly what you did.
Yeah. probably. But then, yeah, and then I have a couple of, like, groups on there that are helpful that I go to.
Yes.
But I've got a lot better with, you know, get a notification, just sort of look at it without, you know, the notification sort of reel without actually clicking on it. And then, as of late, I've been bad. I'll end up, like, sort of scrolling, but then I'm like, what am I doing? I hate Facebook. And
I definitely don't. I still have Instagram, which is Facebook anyway. But I don't have that installed. Like, I have to actually go to Instagram.com to check it.
Yeah, that's handy. I hide mine. I hide mine in a file within a file, and then I always move it around my homepage so that my brain doesn't go, like, straight to it all the time. But my brain's pretty smart. It gets there straight away. It's like, boom, Instagram. On you go. It's pretty sad. But yeah, watch Social Dilemma. I think you'd actually really enjoy it.
All right, so what's it about?
It's about the dilemmas of social media. And everyone's like, oh, you know, I know what it means, you know, just to spend more time with your family. If you know, I'm like, yeah, but it's so much more than that. It's kind of not just the negative effects it has on your personal life, but on, you know, society as a whole, and the way, I guess, people are actually heading. I don't know. It's quite in depth.
It is definitely, like, I sort of stopped using Twitter before the whole pandemic thing as well. And the best thing to do, I find, is what I did pre-pandemic was just, I would have these apps, but I wouldn't open them. I would turn on, like, notifications so that I would get, if someone that's like, something's going on that I'm interested in, I'll go and find an account that will give you those things and get the notifications, like you're kind of getting a text message. So, like, I'm a big space nerd, so, like, I follow these accounts. It's like, oh, there's a rocket launching right now. I'm like, oh, cool. And that was really effective up until the pandemic, when I'm like, I started doom scrolling, going, what's going to happen next? But what since that's happened, I've noticed that now if you go on Twitter and you see what's trending, it now this has changed since I started using it, I think, or maybe just because I've been using Twitter more. It's now what is trending is what you're interested in. Like, they should have just said, oh, this is what you're interested in, so we're going to make this say this is trending. So I go on, and it's like, oh, a rocket's blown up in somewhere, and that's trending news. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing that people other than space nerds care about this rocket blowing up. And I go on there, and it's like, only 5 people have tweeted about it. Yeah. No one else cares. But Twitter's like, no, this is really important because you're interested in it.
That's why you need to watch it, because it just it goes into detail about all the different algorithms, you know, of Google and everything, and just even the people who actually created the apps or were involved, you know, somewhat from the start, explaining how, you know, how negative it is on people's lives, and which they almost wish they could undo what they did. It's so cool. Not cool. It's terrible. It's actually terrifying.
Oh, the best thing that's ever happened is the mute feature.
Yes, on Instagram.
Yeah, or Facebook, because what used to happen is some people are like, oh, just delete that person if you don't want them in your life.
You can't.
If you delete that person, it's like, it's antagonistic.
It totally is.
And it just creates a worse situation. Rather, you can mute people and go, okay, there's some people that I actually don't really hate, but
their feed annoys me, like they've just had a baby, which, you know, kudos to everyone out there who has babies. I will be the exact same if I ever have a baby. But I don't want to see it 24/7. You know, I want to see food posts, and I want to see whatever the hell else I look at on Instagram. I don't even know. I don't just want to see a baby, you know, smiling or crying or pooping or... So, you know, you mute them for a while, and then you see them, and then you catch up and you go, yeah, you're actually all right. Like, I don't mind you as a person. I'll unmute you. You like a few photo, or you're getting muted again. You brought it on yourself.
That's what I did with one person, like I guess an ex, was I just was having issues with this, and I muted them on social media. Yeah. And like within like a week, I was over it. It was just when you're constantly being reminded of what else they're doing, that it's in your face, you start going, oh, you got the FOMO of like, oh, she's hanging out with those friends, and didn't I get invited, blah, blah, or whatever. Within a
week or so.
It was so quick.
Yeah.
So quick. It was amazing how quick it was. And that's what I should have done during the pandemic. It was just I say that like it's ended. It's ended for us maybe, but not for the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Sorry, people who live in America. But the other interesting thing is we live in Perth, Western Australia, which is like considered one of the most isolated cities in the world. And okay, so I go on Twitter and it's like, oh, Perth's trending. I'm like, oh, what happened in Perth? Turns out there's a K-pop star. Have you heard of K-pop?
No.
It's like Korean pop music.
Okay.
So it's all these boy bands and girl bands in Korea that are becoming big around the world. And I think there's a K-pop band that has a member called Perth.
Okay.
So now when you look up Perth online, all you find is like all these fangirls talking about, oh, how cute is Perth? And I'm like...
Yeah, Perth's pretty cute.
Yeah, we're sitting here in Kings Park and it looks pretty cute right now. But
nice. I wouldn't say cute, but you know.
But now you got 60 million South Koreans talking about this one person, and now you can't find any information about Perth when you look it up on Twitter. Obviously, I think Google will work out, oh, you're a person from Perth. We're going to give you information about Perth if you look it up. But Twitter's like, no, you want information about South Korean pop music.
Which we do not.
For this week, I thought I'm going to change things up.
Okay.
Okay?
I think we need that.
Because I don't know if did you have any things you wanted to challenge your assumptions on?
I've had a thing that I was thinking about for a while. It's only because of the bloody bushman in my nightmares last night that some people say, you know, dreams are a reflection of your deep psychology or your subconscious or whatever you want to say. But there's so many circumstances in life where, you know, something happens, you have a dream about it, and it's like, bam, you know why you had a dream about it. But then there's other times and it's like, why were my teeth falling out in the dream? What does that mean? And then you Google it and has some, like, deep-seated, twisted meaning of, you know, or, you know, death usually results in a birth. Like, that's the meaning. If you dream about someone dying in your dream, it actually means, like, a new birth or crazy things like that.
A new birth of what?
Like a new...
This is what you looked up, or is this what you think?
This is sort of my...
philosophy.
Yeah, I would like to know. I'd like to probably research it further to know why. What do you think dreams are a reflection of? Do you think that they have any deep-seated meaning? Do you remember your dreams? Because apparently everyone dreams. Everyone dreams, you just don't... Not everyone remembers them.
Yeah.
I can dream exceptionally vividly.
I have really vivid dreams when I've drunk alcohol.
Right.
And I've actually abused...
It's probably actually happened, you just don't... It was actually real life the night before, you just don't remember it.
Yeah. No, these are definitely like... I don't have exciting alcoholic adventures, but I have abused alcohol to have dreams.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I have crazy dreams. It's kind of like virtual reality, you know, except very unhealthy way to go about it. The other night, I had some wine with dinner. And
you rebel.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Right, but I had a lot of wine with dinner. And
red or white?
I had a dream red.
Okay. And
I can't really drink, but I had a self-destructive night and I had some red wine and I had a dream about... And most dreams I like, oh, that was an awesome dream, but I don't think about it again.
Yeah.
But this dream, I was like in a harbour. In my head, it was like Rottnest with the main jetty.
Yep.
And I was sitting there watching the boats go by. But it was kind of more like a traditional harbour where boats coming in and out of the harbour, which Rottnest doesn't have. But anyway, it was quite choppy water and these really fancy boats that are very lightweight were coming through the harbour, through the gates of the harbour, and a big wave came up, picked one up, just like I've seen in lots of videos online, and just smashed onto another boat. And these people, you know, fell out of the boat and some looked like they were unconscious and everything. And I was standing there and I had the, you know, little red circles, the lifesaver things on the jetty, right there in my front of me. So I was like, oh, this is my chance to help save these poor people in the water. And I spent so long trying to get the rope untangled that was attached to because the rope there was a rope attached to the red ring. I don't know why. I don't think that happens in real life, but there was in my dream that I was like, going to throw this red ring out. They're going to grab onto it. I'm going to pull them in, rescue, save the world. I spent so long untangling the cables that everyone died. They drowned.
That definitely means something.
And I was like, yeah. So I don't normally want to talk about my dreams, but this was like disturbing. And I spent the whole rest of the time going, why didn't I just jump in the water? Because I have my bronze medallion and all that stuff. Like, I don't swim much, but I know how to rescue people from the water.
Yeah.
but I got so caught up in trying to untangle the rope to get the perfect throw to thing out that I just missed it and everyone died. Missed the opportunity.
Can you please Google that and find out what that means for next week? That specific, I shit, you know, I bet you can actually Google that specific. I mean, maybe don't be so in depth, but what was going on in your life at that time? For, you know, you'll probably Google it and it'll come up with you got so tangled up in life in a particular instance that you lost sight of, I don't know, an amazing job opportunity, or you missed the boat on a relationship or something. It'll be something, I don't know.
Yeah, that's totally is probably really important. Did you have any dreams you want to report on?
No, only because I have so many every night and it does my head in. But like I said last night...
You're a light sleeper. You only remember dreams that are in your light sleep.
Really?
So you're not sleeping. Do you have a sleep tracker app?
On my phone, yes.
Yeah, you should do that.
How does it track your sleep on your phone? I don't understand.
Well, there's two. I have my Apple Watch tracks me as well, and that just works out how much you're like moving around in your bed. The one I mainly use, which I've used for years, is just it's an alarm clock on your phone. It's called Sleep Cycle. And when it first started out, okay, it just you put it next to your pillow, and it just feels your phone has like sensors to know when you're tilted upright or not, and it uses those sensors to check how much your mattress is moving. So it needs to be on your side of the bed, not your partner's side of the bed, otherwise it might mistake your partner's movements for yours. But since they put out an update a couple of years ago, which is real creepy, where it's like, no, we're going to use the microphone. So it'll just listen to you all night. And what's crazy is it takes clips of you snoring. So it says, oh, you snored at like 3:33 in the morning. And thankfully, it was actually quite a relief to find that
that data is being stored somewhere over in Korea.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it is a real relief to know that, like, I didn't snore that much, because I always worried that I was like a big snorer, because all the men in my family are. And I only ever get those snoring alerts when I'm like really drunk, which I probably just face planted on the mattress after a night out or something like that. But most of the time, I never really get those alerts. But it is a bit creepy listening to the recording back when there's like nothing on it, because you're waiting for the snore to come, and there's nothing, and it's like, oh, is this going to record the sound of someone invading like my home or something? Because I actually did get home invaded.
What? Did it record them in that instance?
God damn it, I didn't check.
Check!
Yeah, but this is like a year ago.
For the love of God.
I've since bought like a security camera and everything like that. Yeah. But problem is, it probably wouldn't, because it was so... I'd literally just gone to sleep, and I knew that because I listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Before I go to trying to help me go to sleep, and I have a sleep time. It turns the podcast off after 30 minutes. So that was still running when the guy invaded the girl. Don't want to be sexist.
Yes. Please don't.
Invaded my home, and so it would have been within half an hour of me going, yeah, I'm going to bed, and I was still half awake, and I just saw this like light moving across my room, and I'm like, what is that? It looks really weird, but I was still half asleep. And then I realized, oh, that is like a torchlight of someone in my house.
Why are you trying to give me more nightmares?
Yes, sorry, I won't talk about it more. But how did we get onto that? Oh, sleep tracking, yes. Okay, so now you can actually switch it back to the old one and just use vibrations. But I know if you have a partner, some people say the microphone is better because it's just listening to your breathing, not picking up your partner's movements in bed. But obviously, like if you have like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, it'll just measure how much you're moving around in your sleep. Because the lighter sleep you move more, basically, and it will show you on a graph of like, oh, okay, you're moving around a bit here, so you're probably sleeping lightly, you're probably dreaming, so you're moving more, you're fidgeting more in your sleep, so we can tell that you're in a light sleep. But yeah, usually heavy dreaming is you do that in light sleep, so you're not getting enough deep sleep. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know.
Look into that.
Or maybe you are getting enough deep sleep and you're just having a ton of different dreams in that short period where you have light sleep. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you ever have dreams like you wake up and you feel like you've been gone from this world for like 3 months?
No.
I've done that. That's crazy.
I've never heard of that.
Why did you bring this up?
Oh, I brought it up because I wanted to know if people actually have a meaning behind their dream when they dream something, or you know, if there's a meaning behind every single person's dream. Or...
So have you looked it up? Or are you going to?
I did years ago, but I didn't look, you know, too far into it. I think I was just actually looking up a certain dream in particular. I'd love to know.
Okay, well I want to change things up. Connecting this back to the whole Twitter trending thing.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, people worked out on Twitter that if you post a really kind of, I don't know, a question that you know people will love to answer, and that gets you, everyone replies, and that the more replies to that question you get, more people share it, and it's more likely to go viral, and then you get boosted up in the Twitter algorithm, and you'll get more followers, blah blah blah. So people are trying to do this. They're trying to game the algorithm by asking these questions. But I find it really kind of boring, like reading people's, like, whatever the Twitter limit answer to these questions. I find it incredibly mundane. But it's like, oh, they're sometimes really interesting questions. It'd be much better to discuss them on a podcast where you can actually have a conversation about it. So I thought I would, maybe for a new segment of the show, I don't know, is I would have these, I'll try and save some of these questions and ask you and get your initial reaction.
Okay.
Right? And then next week you have time to think about it, and you can, if you've got anything, oh yeah, I'd answered that wrong, I've totally changed my opinion, you can come back and challenge what you said. Does that make sense?
It does.
Did you grow up rich?
No.
What, as a child, did you consider a luxury that you like look back at it now? It's like, well, that's... I think you said you're a big fan of Sizzler.
Who wasn't?
Yeah.
Maybe a lot.
And you were a bit sad. Sizzler,
going to Sizzler was a massive luxury. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you like get dressed up to go to it, or was it just like you just jump in a car? It's a bigger deal than going like Hungry Jack's.
We walked over to Sizzler. It was in walking distance, but couldn't tell you. I was probably too young to really remember, and we didn't go that often as it was such a luxury.
Yeah. Was there anything like that you think back on?
Playing board games. If you managed to get someone in your family to play a board game with you, you know, you run around the house as a kid with like a thing for checkers or chess, and someone would play with you, and you're like, yeah, that's huge. And then now it's like so many families play board games, and it's a normal thing. But I was like, but then as a kid, you're over the moon about a lot of things, like the smallest things.
Wow, I did not expect it.
Why? Why? What?
No, it's really interesting that you're not. You think of something, a luxury to you was an experience, not something that you paid for, like, you know, the fancy version of ice cream, like Sara Lee ice cream was pretty fancy rather than getting the regular Peters.
Getting a 50-cent cone after school, that was a luxury, yeah. That was, if you got a flake,
whoa.
That's like
big day.
Shit, yeah.
So getting someone to play a board game with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Jeez. See, that's what I value now. You really.
I still actually really value it.
Yeah.
My partner is not a massive fan of board games, but his family is. That's probably why he's not.
Yeah.
So every Christmas or, you know, any birthday or Easter or anything, I'm like, board games? They're like, yes. I'm like, yes.
Do you have favourite board games, or are you one of those people who was like hunting for the latest board game to introduce to people?
I can't say I'm not an active board gamer, but definitely went to do Christmas shopping recently, and, you know, go to the gifty section of Myers, or those little sort of stalls in the shopping centres, and they usually have like crappy gifts. Yeah. Sorry, everyone who I've shopped for. And yeah, they have really cool card games or board games, so I'm always going through them.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you a board gamer?
I hate games.
Oh. You look like a big gamer.
I play video games.
Yeah.
But I like electronic experiences.
Yeah.
I usually hate the actual game part of it.
Yeah.
Having said that, I do get excited about, again, electronic experiences, or games that are more, you know, they're less about the game. Like, there's no scoring involved, but it's challenging.
Yeah.
I can't think of a good example, but recently, in the past few Christmases, we usually play as games instigated by me that are called Jackbox games, Jackbox party packs.
Yeah.
You ever heard of them?
No.
It's like you can plug in anything. It's almost available on any device you can plug into a TV. You can do it on PlayStation or Xbox. But you can plug in a laptop. You can probably plug in your phone if you have a phone thing. You plug into your TV, and it presents a main screen for everybody to watch. And then everyone else gets their phone out and they connect to the game, like just on the web browser, and then you play all sorts of varieties of games. Like usually the best ones are like versions of Pictionary, like where you're drawing something on your phone and then it goes up on the thing and everyone has to guess what it is. Or there's games where you kind of have to make up a lie and convince everyone that that's the truth, all those kind of things.
Yeah. I love those.
And usually when I have friends over to play video games, I want a game, rather than having a game where it's just like pew pew pew, we shoot each other. I kind of want games where it's like we have to work together. Like I had a friends over just last weekend because the new Xbox came out, and we play this game where you basically have a pirate ship and you're pirates and you have to work together to sail the boat. Like in old games, basically, ship. If you have a pirate ship, it's just like driving a car around. It's just one person does it. These things, they have a big ship, and there's 3 or 4 of you, and you have to work together. Like one person's trying to make sure the sails are pointed into the wind, one person's steering, one person's navigating on the map or looking out for rocks ahead with a telescope. And
you are very passionate about this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And but a lot of people don't like it because it's like, well, what's the point of this? It's like, well, we're going to go sail to the island and find the treasure. And you get to the island, it's pretty easy to find the treasure, or it's kind of confusing. But for me, it's the fun of actually working together and trying to achieve. It's like when you get the ship going really fast, and then when you hit a reef, sometimes you have to like work together to repair the boat so you don't sink it. And it's like, oh, quick, get some wood planks and let's fix up this boat. And I like those sort of games that it's not really like a winner. It's just more about people.
Yeah,
teamwork, communicating.
That's cool.
But that's really interesting that you're like, you're not like.
What response were you expecting?
I don't know. I think most people. Okay, I'll look into the answers. What people said online. All right, top answer: going out to eat to a restaurant.
Okay, you planted that seed though for me.
Yes, buying something that's not on sale.
Yeah, I don't think that ever happened.
Another one of the comments that I relate to was pancakes. That was like a real luxury when Mum made pancakes for dessert, when pancakes are like the cheapest dessert you can make. It's like literally just a bit of flour and water.
Yeah, so true. I actually still consider that a luxury.
Yeah.
You were talking about was it you that was talking about the shake?
Coles versus Woolworths.
Yeah.
Shaker.
But the shaker, yeah. So that's a luxury.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't even. That's how bad I am at cooking. I wouldn't even make pancakes.
And that's it. Now that I live,
I really feel like pancakes.
Yeah.
I need to go to
Coles.
I don't have any food.
Get the $1.50 buttermilk pancakes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have pancakes for dinner. Watch me.
Dun, dun. Sometime later. We're recording on the 7th of December 2020. We're in some kind of. We're on the edge of Herdsman Lake, looking towards the city. You were tired because you weren't sleeping. You were dreaming, which is like a follow-up from our last episode. What's going on?
Okay, so I guess we were quite correct in our assumption. Well, your assumption actually, that people who dream are generally in a lighter sleep, and that there's still contradicting beliefs or understandings, I guess, of what dreams mean and if they actually do mean anything. So one of them is that the theory suggests that humans construct dream stories after they wake up. This is a natural attempt to make sense of it all. However, renowned psychologists, some dude, believe that dreams reveal unconsciously repressed conflicts or wishes. According to this Freud dude, dreams are imaginary of a wish or impulse.
Freud dude.
His name's Freud.
I think they say Freud, isn't it? It's like a Freudian slip.
Is it?
Yeah. No, but I like that Freud dude.
Oh, fuck. Can't do anything right. Dreams are imagery of a wish or impulse from childhood that has since been repressed. This is why... What'd you say?
Freud
studied dreams to understand that the unconscious mind. Therefore, according to Freud, your dreams reveal your repressed wishes to you. But there's another theory which describes dreams as a defense mechanism our brain puts into place and prepare us for scary events. This allows us to face our fears in a safe simulation. This theory adds that children who live in an environment in which their physical and psychological well-being is constantly threatened should have a highly activated dream production and threat simulation system. If this theory is to be believed, it could be assumed that we dream more often when we're in a state of fear or anxiety. So, yeah.
Interesting.
But it also says, that everyone does dream. It's just a matter of, which I have always said, and no one believed me. Why would they? But yeah, we estimated that we have roughly 3 to 6 dreams in one night, and around 90% of these dreams are forgotten the following morning.
The one thing I've heard is if you want to remember your dreams, as soon as you wake up and it's like, oh, that was a cool dream, I want to remember it, don't roll over. When you roll over, you forget your dreams.
Oh, it's the actual rolling motion.
Yeah, like the fluids flip over in your head. Yeah, I don't know how it works, but it totally works. Like the few times I've remembered, don't roll over, I have remembered the dream.
Oh, wow.
You just have to get into your head because everyone's like, that's the thing. You wake up, you're like, oh, I'll roll over, get a nice new comfy spot in bed and then go back to sleep. But then you forget your dream.
Yeah. That's funny though, because I actually spent my whole morning walk this morning telling my partner about my dream. I said, and this happened, this, and it was about a 5-minute long walk of what I was sort of discussing. And then nearly got back home, and then I remembered more and more as I was like sort of saying it, and it was quite weird that I'd forgotten. I was like, oh yeah, and then this happened, and it's so vivid, and I'm like, he just looks at me and he's like, why are you talking so much this early?
Was this the nightmare?
This is a nightmare, yeah. So there was a whole like hostage situation, and I had someone leaning over me, and then someone stabbed their body through them, and it was like coming out and nearly getting my hand, and they sliced my hand, and then they stabbed themselves in the head. I haven't watched any horror movies all weekend, mind you. I don't know where this shit's coming from.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Anxiety. No, I don't know. I am going to jump ahead maybe then, if we've discussed the dream topic. A pivotal turning point.
Have you heard of the simulation theory?
Simulation theory?
Yeah.
No.
I think you mentioned dream as like a simulation.
I think I did, but what's the...
Have you ever done VR?
No.
Like with a PlayStation or on a computer?
No, I've seen people do it, but I haven't myself.
Well, you should try it because it's pretty crazy. But it's very like low resolution. Like you can see the pixels on the screen and that. Because what they're basically... The VR is like a phone screen, and there's like magnifying glasses that go over your eyes that like make that phone screen go all around you. Yeah. And so when you're magnifying into the screens, even though the screens on our phones getting more and more resolution, it's hard to see the dots. But when you have magnifying glasses right up your eyes, you can see the dots. So they're quite low resolution at the moment. But the idea is that they'll get better over time. Like the dots on the screen will get smaller and smaller. Yeah. So they're microscopic. And there's this mathematical theory that says that, okay, if we assume that these technologies are going to get better and better, eventually, just as our phones are getting faster and things, I mean, back in our parents' day or whatever, like, I started off, we had a phone that you still had to spin around to... Yeah. I mean, we only didn't have that long before we got...
The good old days.
A digital one, but on a long enough time, the technology is going to get better. So they're saying, well, it seems kind of inevitable that we're going to get to a point where you'll go into one of these VR things and you won't be able to tell, is this the real life? Like if you spend a long time in it, and you'll forget. Do you know what I mean?
That's scary.
Right? But what they're saying is if that's true, mathematically, the likelihood that this is not a simulation is very unlikely. Because if every civilization builds the technology to go into a simulation where they can go into it and almost forget that they do, then those people will live in that simulation, and in that simulation they'll build their own version of virtual reality, and it'll get that good enough, and then they'll go in. Then they'll get lost in that simulation, and then they'll go to another one. So there's all these tiers of simulations, and if there's infinite time in the universe, right? There's going to be so many simulations that the mathematical chance that we're in the actual base reality where virtual reality is first invented is statistically very unlikely. Like it's 1 in a million. It's like being in the lottery.
Right.
So there's this thing called the simulation theory that says like mathematically it's very unlikely that this is not a simulation, we're living in, right? Grace is giving me a look.
Fuck. Yep. Just smile and wave.
We're not smoking any substances.
Well, I'm not anyway. I don't know about you.
But obviously the question is like, what does it matter? If we don't know how to get out of this simulation, then basically this is our life and we can't really do much about it. You know, it's a bit of a risk to like try and kill yourself to see what happens when you wake up because you don't know.
Taking a lot of dark turns today.
Yeah. Do you want to hear what I learned about dreams?
Yes.
Watching some BS YouTube videos that I'm like, yeah. I mean, I find my kind of dreams super creative. Like, I'm like...
Really vivid or...
Yeah, it's sort of vivid, and you go on these some adventures that I'm like, well, I have no basis for this in my life, really. Like, how could I... It has to be some sort of creativity. But then I read some of these videos I watched, they're like, well, the world that you're creating in your dreams is all based on memories you have. So, in theory, anyone you meet in your dream is someone you've seen in the real life. It might not be someone you know, like if you don't know that person in your dream, it might not be someone you recognize, but it's probably a face of someone that you've seen throughout the day or something like that. Because our minds are just implanting memories into the dreams and filling in the blanks.
Yeah.
Have you ever met someone in your dream and you're like, do I know this person in real life?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. Like they've come from a movie or something like that.
I had this recurring character in these dreams I had, but they always look kind of different, but always kind of the same, you know? Kind of that dream way that nothing's really super clear. And I ended up giving her a name called Liberty because I knew this actress that was called Liberty that kind of looks like her. That she was close as I've ever got to seeing, oh yeah, that looks like her. But you don't have recurring characters?
No, I don't think I have recurring characters. Though I have had dreams and there's been like some sort of truth behind it, and then I wake up and sort of take that truth and then look it up, or I Google it, and it's been accurate, and I'm like, or it's like a really good idea for something. I had a dream that I was dating James Marsden, you know that actor from 27 Dresses?
Yeah.
Didn't really know that I knew his name.
Yeah.
In real life, and then I sort of woke up and I could like see his face, and in my dream I had like Marsden, and then I woke up and I was just like, James Marsden. Actually, I think that's his name. Hopefully it's his name.
That sounds right.
And then I googled it and it was him. I was like, that was weird. I didn't even fucking know I knew that. But sorry, I swear a lot. I'm going to try to stop swearing. I didn't even know that I knew that. And Bradley Cooper, I dreamed about him before.
Right.
Who hasn't?
What did you do? Did you wake up and watch a Bradley Cooper or a James Marsden film?
No, I had actually watched a James Marsden film a couple of months prior. But
all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, or have you ever had a dream that you know it's a dream, so you just start doing whatever you want because you know there's no consequences? Have you had
lucid
that?
dreaming, yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh, I've asked people before and they're like,
There's
what?
some people say that, like, there's lots of things you can do, but people say that if you like have a lackey band or a hair lackey on your arm during the day, like in real life, and every now and then you snap it to you and you feel that snap, there's just some kind of simple thing that you do in real life that when you can look down in a dream and go try and snap the hair band, and that will switch your brain into, I don't know what happens, whether you see that there's not a hairband there so that you realise, oh, you're in a dream because I know I'm wearing a hairband in real life, or I don't know, this is vague memories here, but yeah, basically that snaps you into realising you're in the dream, and that will help you get control of the dream, and then you can have much more control.
Cool. I don't think I have.
And there's also some things you can substances you can take, like I think melatonin, certain things help you. Oh, I did hear about cheese dreams. There was this fad where a while ago where you eat a bunch of cheese before you go to...
I've heard that. Cheese and Chinese.
Yeah, cheese and Chinese?
Yeah, not together.
Okay. Oh, a separate meal, like Chinese food.
Chinese does the same, yeah.
Well, yeah, well, one of these podcasts or whatever I was listening to was like, oh, it's basically just because cheese and probably Chinese food is so fatty that your body is breaking it down in your sleep, and it has to do a lot of work to break down all those calories in your sleep. So it's actually warming you up and you feel hotter, and when you're hotter you don't sleep well. Usually when you're in a deeper sleep you're like a degree below your normal body temperature or something like that, but when you get hotter in your sleep you don't sleep as well, and then you have more dreams.
Right.
That's what I think when I was talking in the previous episode about that night that I had those crazy dreams of not saving those people drowning. I had just consumed a ridiculous amount of takeaway food and my body was just trying to process it out of shock.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
What else do we got? I can't say I've got a pivotal turning point or a fork in the road type. I mean, there are lots of sort of minor things, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Every single day, you know, something different could have happened if you made a slightly different decision. I think about that about arguments a lot, but I think that's just general anxieties, and that, you know, arguments you have with people and you think, actually I did it just yesterday. I had an argument with a family member and I thought, if we'd spoken about this in person, which I actually tried to do the week prior, but then, you know, you get in conversation with other people and they sort of talk over you and then you're like, it doesn't really matter, and general chit chat, and then you fail to bring it up, and then anyway it was brought up in message, and then there was sort of confusion and things like that, and it just escalated. And I thought, if I just repeated myself that week prior, brought up the conversation again, discussed it in person, we would have saved this whole argument and this whole... Anyway, so there's many of those. But I guess that's everyone. I don't know if everyone thinks like that and backtracks so far to a point and goes, if I hadn't said that, or if I hadn't, you know, not gone to get a drink of water at that point, then we wouldn't have talked about that, and then that would have led to that, and then that. Anyway.
It's interesting. You really think about these interpersonal relationships as these sort of big turning points, where I'm like, well, I'd be like turning points where I, like, you know, I dropped out of uni to pursue being an artist, and the degree I was doing was rubbish. I probably wouldn't have got a good job out of it anyway. But that was like a pivotal turning point in my life.
Oh, no, okay, yes.
I know you have a long-term partner. At some point you made a commitment to them to go, well, do you ever walk away situation?
No, I do. Yeah, I guess you put it like that. I started studying fitness, and then I wasn't enjoying that, so I left that. But I easily could have stayed as well. And then
but
I would have been in a totally different
situation.
left
because you just weren't enjoying it?
I didn't hate the course too much. I was just very self-conscious, I guess, and I didn't get along with the girls and things like that. I don't get along with a lot of girls. I don't get along with anyone, really, but maybe it's me. Yeah, I was just feeling a little bit excluded, I guess, and then I realised I didn't really want to be a PT. I don't know what I wanted to do. I just sort of signed up, so I just dropped out, and and I wanted to go travelling. That's right, my best friend at the time bought a one-way ticket to Europe, so I was like, I'm going to work full-time and just save up, and here we are, probably about 8-9 years later.
And you haven't gone?
I went to Europe once last year, but yeah, it's different with a partner, I think. I always wanted to go like solo, or, you know, go over there, work and do that whole... Oh yeah,
you should do that
whole adventure.
30.
Yeah, I know.
If this world ever changes.
I know, and that's it now. Everyone keeps talking about it now. I'm like, yeah, well, one day, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
well, I thought Europe would have had it under control by now, but they don't.
No. Oh, a term for male slut.
Oh, this is right.
Do you want to hear it?
Okay, you've been working on this.
So what did we have? We had floozy, we had flossy.
Yeah. Is it for women?
Yeah.
I guess you can apply that to men.
Many more names.
You can apply all these to name, but there's no like specific.
But whenever someone's talking about a man in general, they put the word man first.
Yeah, like
they
man
say man
whore.
Man slut. Anyway. It's not very... Actually, thinking about it, it's really not original. I just came up with mutt.
Mutt.
Man-slut. A mutt.
Okay.
And a mutt's not a good...
Yeah, I like how they have dogs that are like...
It's like a mixed...
From the back alley, they're called mutts.
Yeah. Yeah, mixed breeds.
Yeah.
No one likes them. Mutt. Look at that mutt over there.
Bloody mutt.
You gotta have a real Australian accent when you say it too.
Yeah. Anyway, we better get you out of here. You're freezing to death. If anyone has any questions, you can look. We haven't set this up yet.
So don't have any questions. Just
wherever you're listening to this, go into the show notes of the podcast or the post on Instagram or whatever, and there will be a link, probably a link to say, oh yeah, email us your question of the week or your assumption of the week, and we'll discuss it live on the show. Follow us on social media, which we haven't put up yet. Any lasting thoughts? Anything, message you want to send out to the world before we go?
Don't buy anyone, especially if they're your friend, a shitty book for their birthday, because you'll never get invited to a birthday party again.
Yeah. Or they'll just come out of nowhere like 15 years later and be like, hey, thanks for that gift. It was awesome. It's a Russian roulette. You never know. They might just take 15 years to realise it was an awesome present.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You can believe that if you want to.
Okay, fine. We'll see. I'll go marry that person out of spite.
Okay. If you're listening, he's coming for you.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.